Hey, what's happening? It's your boy, you heard me? Rude Way. Now, peep game on this. Today I want to talk about something, and it's why more people get fired from off their job during the Christmas holidays, like the month of December, than any other month in the year. Now, I can speak from experience on this one here. I got fired off a job in the month of December, and it was what is considered a very lucrative job. You know, it's like during the Christmas holidays is when your supervisors and your managers are like the most outright mean, you know, and they're very heavy-handed during the month of December. Let's talk about it. Now, for me, when I got fired on December 14th, and the job had a lot of overtime, so you know there's a lot of money involved. And when I got fired for something most people don't get fired from, you know, and it was a union job, so it was like the supervisor was on some different stuff. He didn't care about the union and how it worked. You know, he just like, you're fired. If I have to hire you back in a year or two, so be it. But as of now, you're fired. And it was like very devastating. I knew it couldn't be all bad. I would get another job, definitely, but I know a lot of people is not in the same position that I am in and can just go get another job. You know, I knew during the holidays, I just need to enjoy the holidays because there's no jobs available during the holidays. No one really want to hire during the month of December because of budget restraints and all of that stuff. So you have to wait till the next year. So you'll have to deal with that uncertainty until the next year. So hopefully you got a little money saved up and you're prepared just in case your boss or whatever just fly off the handle and cut you loose for whatever reason, whether they need to cut back for budget reasons because they just can't afford to have so much staff, and you did something that or said something that made him feel that I'll let him be the one that take the fall for it, whatever. Well, I say all that to say this. An incident happened here in the Philippines yesterday. I mean, today is I'll make sure, today is March 3rd here. So it happened on the March 2nd in a place called San Juan in Manila area. Well, a guy got fired off his job. He was a security guard, and he got fired December 10th of last year. And so yesterday he decided to go on his job. He worked at the mall. And you can look it up. It's called Greenville Mall in San Juan, and it made big time news. Well, anyway, he decided yesterday was going to be his last day. So he had several months now. Definitely, when you get fired in the month of December, it's it can be very emotional, and a lot of people just won't even go look for another job. And it's very difficult to find it, but he had like several things going on with him. He got fired because he had a confrontation with a tenant. The boss told him that if a person don't have an ID, they can't enter the mall. And it was like kind of like before hours. So one of the tenants came in. Of course, he knew the tenant, but the tenant didn't have an ID on them at the time, so he would not allow them in. The tenant got upset, had a few conversations. Next thing you know, he no longer had his job because he couldn't think out the box and know that if a tenant comes in and you know that tenant, the boss wasn't talking about that tenant. You let that tenant in because they pay their bill. You have a job. There's no need for security if you have no tenants. But anyway, he decided not to let the person in. He got fired. He had 2-3 months to marinate on it and think about what has happened. He got fired during the holidays, and so he just felt life was not worth living. He only been on the job less than 2 years, and all of this emotions built up on the job. So he decided to go in. As he went in with his gun, he shoots a guy 2 times in the chest. One of the persons in security, of course, because he's mad at everyone. And he turned around and he goes in administration and hostage over 30 people. Come to find out, they had an additional 40 people in the back. It's the mall, and the establishment is very big. So anyway, moral of the story is he held the people hostage from before like 9:45 in the morning all the way up to late in the evening, and decided to let everyone go after the mayor came in and had a talk with him. And he was outside, he had a microphone, but he still had his gun, and he was doing an interview. Now this is where the news a lot of time fail, when you have reporters assuming things and running off at the mouth. The man was not apprehended at the time, and the news channels were saying that they couldn't believe that they gave him a mic and gave him a platform to speak about what he has done. First of all, I personally wanted to hear why he did it, because if he wouldn't have said why he did it, I wouldn't have this video to talk about. But anyway, so he told exactly what happened. He got fired December and all that stuff, everything I already told you. And we didn't know that he still had his gun with him after he released everyone, and he was planning on killing himself right there. And to top it off, he had like several hand grenades with him that we don't know what he was planning on doing with that, but he had a lot of armament on him, in his pockets and in his waist and whatever. So he had the opportunity to talk to the mayor. He asked the mayor, I know this is a very lengthy video, but I could talk, so I'm talking. Anyway, he had opportunity to talk to the mayor of that city, San Juan, and asked the mayor what happens now, because he gave the people up. He was on a mic, and he had the media around him talking, but he hadn't gave himself in. And he said that, should I go to jail or the cemetery? And so he put the mayor in a very interesting position, and I like how the mayor handled it. He said, it's basically, at this point, your choice. How you want this to go out, turn out. So he proceeded to say, I think I'm gonna choose the cemetery. So while everyone else is behind the scenes commentating on behalf of him, not even listening to what the guy was saying, that he was basically suicidal and anything goes, they are upset because he had the opportunity to say why he was mad in the first place, which was crazy. The media really, really fails us. They really fails us. They don't listen. They become the news instead of just reporting the news. Just report what you see. Stop trying to assume what the hell somebody is thinking. You have to wait till the whole thing play out. I thought it was peculiar because of the way it came on that he wasn't even in handcuffs yet. Well, SWAT and all of that was closing in on him, but because he was still armed, just because he released all of his hostages, doesn't mean he was ready to give up and give in. And he was definitely not ready to. He was building himself up, talking himself up, so that he can ultimately commit suicide right in front of everyone. So thank goodness an officer eased up on him in plain clothes and ran and tackled him, grabbed him like that, tackled him, and then it was like out of nowhere, maybe like 15 police officers was all over him, was able to stop him from whatever madness he was attempting in the hostage situation. And hostage taker was subdued, and the game was over. But all of that to say, when you are in a position as a boss, please, during the holidays, have a gentle hand if you have to let someone go, because it takes a couple of months for it to sink in, and not everyone can handle being fired during the holidays. So if you're gonna terminate someone during the holidays, have a gentle hand so that hopefully they don't come back and hurt no one, possibly kill themselves 3 months because you didn't know how to let a person go with dignity, and with respect. Now, granted, some people, you just want to cut them loose and you want to fuss at them. But if you know you're going to fire someone, don't give no unnecessary lectures. You let them know what happened, why they fired. Make sure when you do it, you have all of the paperwork they got to sign. Anything you owe them, make sure you have it ready to give to them. Any benefits or anything, make sure they have it. Let them sign for it. They have keys. Get your keys on that day. Let them know how much you appreciate them working with you or for you, or however the situation is. Get them to sign off on everything. Get all your stuff back, and hopefully go out on a great note. And then maybe this type of incident can be avoided in the future. Now, in my particular case, when I got fired, it was like, whatever, but not everyone is prepared to be able to move on to the next chapter in their life. So, softer hands. Stop, try not to be so mean, or be prepared if they come back on you with a vengeance. Holla at your boy. You know me. See you on the next video. Hope you learned something. And peace. And I'm out. Ruway.